Hey, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Alex S. Moy here, aka the Data Doctor, back with another Tableau build. Today, we're going to be doing another Workout Wednesday, and this one is quite interesting. I was taking a look at the Workout Wednesday site and seeing what we could work on, and I'm trying to work on some of the things that are current in this year in 2023. But I am going through and reviewing some of these other older ones from previous years. There's a lot of oldies but goodies in there as well. But today we're going to look at this one. It's how or can you build a funnel chart? So if you've never seen a funnel chart, it's going to be this type of shape that we're showing. And just trying to understand exactly what it is over here. We've got the data set that is coming. Where is it? Let me just go round real quick. Okay, so data set is right here. We can right click on that and save that source. I've already saved the file, so we'll have that readily available. And then we've got a couple of different things over here. So we've got this big awesome number band over here. That looks fairly straightforward. We'll have to figure out some of these calculations in here. We've got this other chart over here, which is the funnel chart. This is going to be maybe the more challenging part of our visualization. And we can see over here that we've got some different requirements. The dashboard size, 2 sheets, data provides 1 row per sales opportunity with its value and current stage and process. Okay, so the stage number reflects the order. Okay, that's lined up with that. So prospecting is 1, qualifying is 2, so on and so forth. We've got closed 1 as 5, so that makes sense. And then there's a closed loss stage, number 6. And so that's something that we don't see here on our funnel chart, but looks like it'll be part of our calculation for that loss portion. Let's see. So they've got some additional notes over here. We're going to create KPIs to indicate a total value of sales opportunity. Okay, so it's not the count, because when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about how a funnel chart typically progresses, I'm thinking about the count of opportunities, and maybe we're doing a count distinct, but they're looking at value. So we can do that as a percentage of the value. So this is create a chart where each bar represents the percent amount that's passed through that stage of the pipeline. And okay, and we're going to make the bar a single object. So let's go ahead and dive into Tableau, and I'm going to move this to the other screen. I did open it so we can come over here and hover over and make sure we get all the tooltips as well, because it's got match tooltips and formatting. So we'll go back and look at that as well. So let's come over here in Tableau and connect our data and get started. All right, so I think it is actually a text file. Yeah, so it is a CSV file over here. So our data looks exactly like she mentioned already. So that is good. Op ID doesn't look like we're going to need it. I'm going to move this up because it's a dimension kind of attached to that stage. So let's see about building this visualization, right? So when we're looking at this over here, the first thing I'm thinking about is, okay, I want to lay out my prospects and my qualification, value proposition, all those things. So let's grab our stages. Let's take a look at that. So I want to sort my stages, and I want to sort it by field, ascending, and it's going to be stage number. Okay. Well, we want it to be, let's just say average. There we go. And so now that'll display that correctly, because if we were using the sum, it would treat it as a numeric value that could be totaled up. So that looks like the correct order. So now we want to grab, so the first thing we want to do is grab global value, right? So let's say we'll call it, so I'm looking over here at this chart, and I wish my screen was big enough to have all the things on here all at once, but we're not going to be able to do that. but we've got this total value over here. So I'm just going to call this total value, and you'll see exactly why I'm doing that. So we can do sum of value over here. And I need to do closing parentheses over there. So that's going to give us the total value globally, and it's going to fix it. So if you create a level detail calculation, typically you'll use the keyword fixed over here, and this will fix it globally. But if you leave that keyword out without the colon and just use the curly braces, that's a fixed level detail calculation right there. So I'm going to do it just like that, take a little bit of a shortcut. And then the other thing we're going to do now is we're going to calculate the value for that level. All right. And so there was a note in there about how the value for that level is actually cumulative. So things that were things that have gone down to one closed one or review have gone through prospecting. So we need to actually sum up everything going down. So let's see, we can create a running total window calculation, right? So we can do a table calc over here. So we're going to say, we're trying to create the bar, so we want to know what is our total for. So stage total. Yeah, let's just call that stage total for right now. And then we'll say window sum. And then we're going to say sum of value. And then the start is going to be where we're at, and the end is going to be actually last. So I want to do that, right? And that should work. So it's going to basically say, wherever we're at in this table, we're going to sum it up based off of where we're at to this last thing. And so that's going to be good for all of this, I believe, except for one closed one. We don't want to include closed loss in there. But for everything else, I think that's right. So let's just go ahead and grab that real quick and put that in there. And so if you've never built the funnel chart, we're going to create this other thing. We're going to use something called a Gantt bar chart. So I'm going to say, and actually I just realized I'm going to go back over to my streaming and make sure this is full screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here. Let's see if we can move this out of the way so you can see exactly what I'm working on over here. And we're going to say start position. And so if you think about it, we want to have things centered, but it's going to be based off this global value. So if we take our total value right over here, and we'll take the sum of that because that's already at that global level, but we have to aggregate it. And we're going to compare that to our stage total. Right, so if let me think about this for a second. If we subtract that out, right, and we take that and we divide it by 2, then we'll get our starting position, because essentially you've got your full width, you're dividing it by, or you're subtracting out this distance over here, which is giving you whatever's remaining, and then we're going to divide that by 2, so that we're going to start it out by a little bit. And I'll show you what that looks like when we add that in here. So if we put our starting positions over here and we put this on size and change this to Gantt bar, we'll see that voila, we have our Gantt bar calculation. Now this isn't quite right because we know that our closed ones should not include our closed losts, and everything else seems to be correct. So let's just create another calculation real quick that says if it's closed one, then we just want everything that's in closed one. So we can do this with the stage, or we can use this with the stage number. I'm going to use stage number, and let's see. We'll call this something else. So stage, that was stage total, kind of like cumulative, but I'm just going to call this final. It's not really a big deal what we name it in here. So if stage number equals 5, let's see, greater than or equal to 5, then some value, else stage total. Is that going to work? That's not going to work because this is an aggregate over here, and this one is not. So let's think about this for a second. We do want this kind of table calculation going down, but so we can actually say min on this to turn this into aggregation, and then sum over here, and that should work right there. So let's take a look at that. If we grab that now, that should update in here. So that works right there, but we need to update our starting position calculation now. So instead of stage total, we're going to use stage total final. Apply that. And so now you can see that that works exactly as expected. I'm going to come over here and we'll just hide this. We don't really need this in this visualization. So you can see that this is already coming together fairly quickly. I'm going to drop this, control drag that to duplicate that. Now I'm going to put marks overlap is okay. We're going to put it on the center. Let's make this a lot bigger. Go 18, and let's go with a semi-bold. I'm looking at the colors and everything in the formatting, and that looks like what they've got going on. I'm going to grab this. I think it's total value that they're using, or stage. Let's do that. So we do a little bit of color like that. I think that looks about right. So we can come over here. We can actually hide the headers, and we're starting to see that. We can do one better. Remove some of the formatting in the background. Let's remove any of our panes. I can't see over here. My camera is in the way. Let's see, rows. So I think this is a visualization. So we're just gonna, it's probably the 0 line and the axis ruler that's on the outside. So we can remove those. And we're gonna hide any tick marks as well. And okay, and so that looks pretty good right now. We've got this fairly clean. And so I'm going to go back over to our little guide that we have over here and see what else we're looking for. So we've got, I think, our text, and we can reverse our legend colors to match that. And so I think that's looking pretty good right now. So we've got our funnel chart. So we'll call this funnel. And I think there's a couple of calculations that we will have to sort out really quickly. So let me take a look at what those tooltips look like. So they've got this different stages listed out as tooltips. So let's go ahead and build out the tooltips real quick. And we'll say we've got our stage number. It's going to be part of our tooltip. And our stage is already available over here. And then we've got the current value at the, so we'll just grab sum of value and put that as our tooltip. And then amount passed through the stage. I think that's going to be our stage total over there. So I'm looking, comparing the values. Yeah, it looks like that. That is correct. That's going to be that same value. So we'll come over here to our tooltips, and I'm just going to clean this up and match the formatting that they've got over here. So it says stage and then stage number. So we're going to grab this over here. We'll say stage, colon, and then we'll have the name of the stage itself. So I'll grab this text right here, this value. We'll clean that up. And then it's called value at current stage. So value at current stage. And the other one is total amount passed through the stage. So we'll just remove that. And we'll fix that little typo over there. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at what that looks like now. So we've got that, and I think there's a little bit more that we can do over here. So we're going to remove the tab space. It looks like it's just right up on the text in this one over here. And then we're going to make this all one color, make that black. And I think it's a little bit bolder, so we'll make that medium over there. And I'm going to unbold that. And then same for our numbers over here. I'm going to unbold these numbers. Yeah. And then we'll change this over here all to the same color. It's a little bit lighter. I think that looks pretty good right there. And then the final thing we'll do is we'll come back over here to these values, and we'll come to the format. We'll adjust the number so that it's custom number. Values 2 decimal places with a million. Okay. We actually want to do it at the pane. So 2 decimals, million. Now you can see that reflected right in there. They have the dollar sign. So let's come back to the currency, 2 decimals, million. Yeah, that's looking good now. And then we're going to do the same thing for the stage, the amount through. Let's see. So we'll come over here and do format for that. We'll grab this over here, currency, custom 2 decimal places to the million. And so, yeah, now we've got the number formatting exactly as they have it in theirs. I think the only difference that I'm seeing is there's a space right here. So we do want to match their formatting the best we can. So we'll go ahead and get that down packed. And that looks pretty dang good right there, if I do say so myself. So I like that. It looks really good, I think, and we should be able to build the number bar now. So we'll go ahead and put our big awesome numbers over here. And so we've got 3 calculations that we'll have to build out as well. So let's see over here. So we've got our 1, and I'm going to just call this 1, and this is going to be the sum of everything that is if stage number equals 5, then value end, right? And so that's going to give us a total value of everything that's 1. And then if we divide that by the sum of our total value, we should get our 1%. So let's take a look at what that looks like and drop that in our labels. And we get 39%. That is exactly correct compared to our other calc or to the example. And so we'll just come over here and modify the number formats. Change that to the percentage, 0 decimal places, and we can see that now. So we've got that first calculation. Let's just go ahead and duplicate the calc, and we'll come over and edit it. We'll call this loss. And instead of 5, we're going to change this to 6. And we should be able to see that in here now. That's 28. All right. And then so if we know our 1, we know our loss, then our outstanding is actually just going to be 1 minus. And then we can say 1 minus loss. You could actually put those in parentheses and add them together, but order of operations, that should work. So yeah, we've got our outstanding. We've got an updated number format as well to percentages. So we can see that. And then let's grab our lost. So we've got those 3 values now. And then the final thing that we need to do is add our total value. Let's come over here and modify how this is displayed. We'll show it as currency 1 decimal places to the million. So that's starting to look really good right there. Let's flip the axis and adjust it. I'm going to grab this and drop it onto our names. I'm going to say fill our entire view so we can see this a little bit better. And so the way you make these big, awesome number bars is exactly what we're doing here. We're going to go in our text, align to center, and we just hide these headers, right? So we just remove that. But then we've got the text over here. So now if we come over here and we modify our text, we can actually make this much, much larger, right? We can come over here and make this like size 26. Maybe that's 24. Make it, let's make it bold. Maybe not that bold. Well, yeah, so we've got our semi-bold over there, or medium, and then we've got our labels, which is slightly smaller. So that's the total value, maybe smaller than that. We'll go down to 18. See what that looks like. Let's go down just a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, and I think that's about the right ratio proportion. And then so now it's just a matter of we can click and drag. Whoops. If we had headers, we could drag it by the headers, but we can also rearrange the order by moving this over here. And so we can move our outstandings down here and our ones up here. And now we've got the exact same order of our other chart. And so now it's about time to put this all together. So if I go into our, let's see, what size do we need this to be? It says 800 by 500. So there we go. We've got that set up. And we can drag in, let's go ahead and put in our title. So I'm going to grab this text over here, and we're going to put in our Wow 2023. week 5. And yes, we can build a funnel chart. And then we'll say, how is the sales pipeline progressing? All right, so we're able to build that out fairly quick. In fact, I think this might be one of the faster builds that we've been able to do. So that felt pretty good. I'm going to darken this text over here. Let's crank it up a notch, bring that in. Bring this to, I think a medium is about right over there. So we'll drag that over here, and then we'll grab this, put it right underneath. We'll hide the title, grab our funnel, get rid of this. We don't need that. We don't need our title for that. So we can move this up here. So we can come back over here and adjust our text size a little bit. I think we might have been a little bit overzealous. So let's drop this down to 20 and maybe make this 14. See how that looks right there. I think that feels pretty good. So let's go back over to our dashboard and see how that looks. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. Maybe tighten it up just a little bit. And then we've got this over here. We'll come back and maybe make the labels a little bit smaller as well. So let's drop this down to like 16 maybe. And then come back to our dashboard and take a look at what that looks like. So I think that's pretty good. Now the final thing that we want to add is, of course, our little footer over here. So we'll just add in our text over here and we'll say, wow, 2023, week 5, challenged by Donna Coles. Data is our Salesforce sample. And recreated by Alex S. Moy. All right, so we'll go ahead and update our colors over here. Give it that little extra pop. And we'll center that. And there you go. I think we have done it. We have recreated the visualization. I'm looking at the colors scheme over here, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't know if it's my eyes or if this seems like it's a little bit lighter. Maybe it's my monitor on the other side. But that looks pretty good. I think that gets the job done. I do want to come back over here actually and see if we change this color to, whoops. I was hoping to make it stage number, but it doesn't look like that's the right thing. Maybe if it were a measure or something, that would work a little bit better. Yeah, I think that lightens it up a little bit. I'm not terribly worried about it. We can come over here and change this average. Okay, I think that's a better gradient. So let's use that as our gradient value. Yeah, I like that contrast a little bit better. So that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. This has been my interpretation of how to build out a funnel chart for this particular week's workout Wednesday. So if you guys like this, please be sure to like and subscribe and tune into future videos and as we build out more of these. And as always, if you've got comments or thoughts, ideas, questions, drop me a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer it whenever I get a chance. All right. Thank you guys and take care. Until next time.